Hello everyone, in today's video we are going to review Quartiles. Measures of dispersion. There are three that we are going to discuss today. They are the range, standard deviation, and variance. Range is the difference between the greatest data value and the least data value. Standard deviation is the set of numerical data that makes use of the amount by which individual data value deviates from the mean. And variance is simply the square of the standard deviation. So when we are computing for the measures of dispersion, take into consideration if the data is a population data or a sample data. Now let us find the range, standard deviation, and variance of the given sample data. So this time we have group data. So first we are going to have summation f. So we add all this up, it would be equal to 40. So take note that summation f is also equal to n. So sometimes we use summation f or n. Then we have class mark. So to get the class mark, we are going to have 25 plus 27 divided by 2, which is equal to 26. Then 22 plus 24 divided by 2, which is equal to 23. 19 plus 21 divided by 2 is equal to 20. 16 plus 18 divided by 2 is equal to 17. 13 plus 15 divided by 2 is equal to 14. Now let us have the next one, which is fx. So we are going to multiply 5 times 26, which is equal to 130. 7 times 23, which is equal to 161. 14 times 20, which is equal to 280. And 11 times 17, which is equal to 187. 3 times 14, which is equal to 42. Then we are going to add it up, would be equal to summation fx is equal to 100. And for the next column is your mean. So to determine the mean, we are going to have the formula summation fx divided by summation f. Substituting the values, we have 800 divided by 40, which is equal to 20. So the column for the mean would be equal to 20. Next, we are going to have x minus mean. So we are going to subtract 26 minus 20. So it would be equal to 6. 23 minus 20, which is equal to 3. 20 minus 20, which is equal to 0. 17 minus 20, which is equal to negative 3. 14 minus 20 would be equal to negative 6. And then for the next column would be the square of your x minus mean. So 6 squared is equal to 36. 3 squared is equal to 9. 0 squared is equal to 0. Negative 3 squared is equal to 9. Negative 6 squared is equal to 36. Then the last column would be f times x minus mean square. So we are going to multiply the frequency times this column. So 5 times 36 would be equal to 180. And 7 times 9 would be equal to 63, And then 14 times 0 is equal to 0. 11 times 9 is equal to 99. And 3 times 36 is equal to 108. Adding it up, it would be equal to 450. Now, given that this data is a sample data, we are going to use the formula for the sample data. So first, we are going to compute for the range. To determine the range, we are going to determine the upper boundary of the highest class, which is the highest class is 25 to 27. To get the upper boundary of this class, we are going to add 0.5 to 27. So we have the upper boundary of the highest class, which is equal to 27.5. And then we are going to determine the lower boundary of the lowest class. To get the lower boundary of this class, we will be subtracting 0.5 from 13. So we will be having 13 minus 0.5, which is equal to 12.5. then the range would be equal to 27.5 minus 12.5, which is equal to 15. Now for the variance, we are going to use the formula summation f x minus mean squared over summation f minus 1. Substituting the values, we get 450 over 40 minus 1, which is equal to 450 over 39, which is approximately equal to 11.54. And to get the standard deviation, it is the square root of your variance. So it would be equal to square root of 11.54, which is equal to or approximately equal to 3.40. Quantiles defines a particular part of a data set. So today I will be discussing three of these quantiles. So the first one will be quartiles. Quartiles divides a data into four equal parts. They have Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, and Q2 is equal to the median. And deciles divides data into 10 equal parts. So we have D1, D2 until D10. And remember that D5 is equal to the median. And we have the third one, which is the percentiles, which divides data into 100 equal parts. We have P1, P2 up to P100. And P50 is equal to the median. So example for this one, if Margarita is scored at the 85th percentile on a standardized test, it indicates that Margarita scored better 85% of the people on the exam. So let us first discuss quantiles and group data. So the formula for the quartiles is equal to Q sub k is equal to 3 over 4 times n plus 1. For the deciles, we have D sub k is equal to k over 10 times n plus 1. And if we have percentiles, we have the formula P sub k is equal to k over 100 times n plus 1. So supposing we have this data, 3, 12, 14, 2, 15, 29, 17, 2, 16. So how many numerical values do we have? Correct, we have 9. So let us find Q2, D3, and P40. So to find Q2, D3, P40, we are going to arrange it first in ascending order. And what is ascending order? Correct. From smallest to the highest number. So in here, we are going to arrange it as 2, 2, 3, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 29. Then, the formula for the Q sub k, so we are going to substitute the values. So k would be equal to 2 because we are solving for Q2, and the n would be equal to 9. So we have 2 over 4 times 9 plus 10, which is equal to 5. And then this one means that Q2 is the fifth number. So from our numerical values, which is the fifth number? Correct. It is equal to 14. So therefore, Q2 is equal to 14. Then we have the formula for deciles. So we will be looking at D3, which is equal to 3 over 10 times 9 plus 1. Simplifying further, we get D3 is equal to 3. And it means that D3 is equal to the third number, which is equal to what? Correct. So it is equal to 3. So therefore, D3 is equal to 3. And then we have P sub k. So we are going to determine P40, which is equal to 40 over 100 times 9 plus 1. Simplifying further, we get P40 is equal to 4. It means that P40 is the fourth number, which is equal to what? Correct. So P40 is equal to 12. Now let us solve the group data. This is the formula for the quartiles, where L is the lower boundary of your quartile class, and N is the total frequency, and CFB is the cumulative frequency below of your quartile class, and F sub QK is the frequency of your quartile class, and I is equal to the class size, and K is equal to the nth quartile. For deciles, this is the formula, and for percentiles, this is for the formula. So supposing we have this data, so the table shows the frequency distribution of the ages obtained from 30 people. So we need to find Q1, Q3, D6, and P19. In doing this, so we need to fill in the table first. So under third column, we have the CF. To start with, we have 5 plus 8 would be equal to 13, 13 plus 5 would be equal to 18, 18 plus 10 would be equal to 28, 28 plus 2 is equal to 30. So our n is equal to 30. Then we have LB stands for the lower boundary. So to get the lower boundary of the first class, we are going to subtract the lower limit by 0.5. So 10 minus 0.5 would be equal to 9.5. So the first lower boundary would be 9.5. The next one would be 13 minus 0.5, which is equal to 12.5. So we have 12.5. The next one would be 15.5, and the next one would be 18.5, and the last one would be 21.5. Now that we completed the table, we are going to determine Q1. First, we are going to determine where is Q1 class. To determine it, so we are going to use Q sub C is equal to Kn over 4. Then we are going to substitute the value of your K, which is equal to 1, and N, which is equal to 30. So we will be having 1 times 30 over 4. And 30 over 4 is equal to 7.5. It means that Q1 is located at 7.5. So in here, let's take a look at CF, which is the first number greater than equal to 7.5. Correct, it is 13. So this is your Q1 class. So after determining the Q1 class, let us have the formula for your quartile. So in here, we are going to have your L, which is equal to 12.5, your lower boundary, and then CFB, which is equal to 5, and then the frequency of your Q1 class, which is equal to 8. So substituting all the values, and I remember we have the class size, the I. So it's either we need to count 10, 11, 12, which is equal to 3, or 13 minus 10, which is equal to our I. So this would be our I, which is equal to 3. Then substituting all the values, so n over 4 is this one already, we computed it. So we have 12.5 plus 7.5 minus 5 divided by 8 times 3. Simplifying further, we get 12.5 plus 2.5 over 8 times 3, which is equal to 12.5 plus 0.9375. And then we will be getting Q1 is approximately equal to 13.44. Now let us solve for D6. So in here, we are going to locate D6 class. So to locate D6 class, we are going to use the formula Kn over 10. Then substituting your K and N, we get 6 times 30 over 10, which is equal to 18. Then we are going to look at CF, which is the first number greater than equal to 18. So we have there 18. So this is your D6 class. From your D6 class, we are going to determine your lower boundary, which is the L, which is equal to 15.5, and CFB, which is equal to 13, and your frequency of the D6 class, which is equal to 5. And then 6n over 10 would be equal to 18. Substituting all the values, we get 15.5 plus 18 minus 13 over 5 times 3. Then simplifying further, we get 15.5 plus 5 over 5 times 3, which is equal to 15.5 plus 3, and then D6 is equal to 18.5. Now, the last one, we are going to solve P19. To get for P19, we are going to determine P19 class first. So using the formula Kn over 100, substituting your K and N, we get 19 times 30 over 100, which is equal to 5.7. So in here, take a look at your CF, and which is the first number greater than equal to 5.7. Correct, it is 13, so therefore, this is your P19 class. From your P19 class, we are going to determine the lower boundary, which is the L, which is equal to 12.5, your CFB, which is equal to 5, and your frequency of your P19 class, which is equal to 8. Then 19n over 100 is equal to 5.7. Substituting all the values, we get 12.5 plus 5.7 minus 5 divided by 8 times 3. Simplifying further, we get 12.5 plus 0.7 over 8 times 3. And then we get 12.5 plus 0.2625, which is P19, which is equal to or approximately equal to 12.76. That's it for now. Thank you for watching and good luck in your PA2. Bye!